What if I told you the secret to unlocking your students' full potential is already a part of your everyday life? The secret? Storytelling. Now the thing is, humans have always told stories, from ancient campfires to modern day screens, but these narratives have not only been used to entertain us, but more importantly, have been our primary way of teaching and passing on knowledge. So at their heart, storytellers are teachers. Hi everyone, I'm Dan Baker and I was a teacher for over 20 years. And during that time, I developed and tested an approach to using storytelling to design and create lessons and projects that boosted learner engagement. They improved recall and promoted critical thinking and problem solving skills. I call this approach the storytelling teacher approach. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the 5-act lesson structure that I use and focus on an overview of the first act in particular. Now, the storytelling teacher lesson plan follows a 5-act story structure. We call these parts acts because they are 5 key learning sequences that your learners will go through. Ultimately, it's about taking the learner on a transformational journey, just like the main character in any good story. So Act 1 is the setup. We'll look at this in a moment. Act 2, we call the problem. This is where we analyse the problem that we're going to set them and how we can overcome it. But also, it allows us to create some connection. Act 3 is called Find Your Approach, and this is where learners will do some activities that embed new knowledge. It also includes a midpoint moment, which I'll explain further in our Act 3 video. Act 4, we're going to raise the stakes and make things a little bit more challenging. And Act 5, we will convert our knowledge and understanding into actions. The structure can be used to plan and deliver any session, whether it's 30 minutes, a 1-hour session, or a 3-hour lesson. And it can be used for any subject and for any year group. So let's have a look at the basics of Act 1, the setup. So just like in any story, we need to start by understanding our main character. In this case, the main character is the learner. At the start of a story, we establish who our character is and what their life is like, and crucially, where their weaknesses or character flaws sit, so we have an understanding of what their desire and needs are. We're going to get the learners in at the start of the lesson, and we're going to assess their current situation and understanding through a setup activity. This is an activity that is relevant to the topic and context for our session. It can be a recall-based activity, which allows learners to remember and repeat information from previous sessions. It can be a thought-based activity, which allows learners to apply their understanding of a topic without the pressure of being right or wrong. Or it can be a reflective-based activity, which allows the learner to self-assess their understanding. The setup activity should allow you to assess the learner's needs and wants for the session. It's like your benchmark to build on. Taking the time to assess the setup activity gives you a greater understanding of how you can help your learner to develop, and just as importantly, how you tell your story to them. Think of it like this. Oral storytellers are responsive to their audience. They react to their audience's wants and needs, and as a storytelling teacher, we must do the same. Like a story, we finish Act 1 with an inciting incident, something to get our learners questioning, to be curious, and ultimately to start their active journey of learning. Think of the story of Macbeth, for example, when the witch's prophecies start becoming true. It kicks off the entire narrative. Or when Shrek leaves his swamp to get it back. The way that we do this in our lesson is by identifying the lesson's central question or problem and setting up a conflict to overcome. This is a question or problem that our learners will use as a starting point to explore, and we weaved through the rest of the session. For example, for a media session, which was my subject, it could be, is Edgar Wright an auteur? But for a science lesson about, let's say, plant pollination, it could be, why are there so many dandelions? For a maths lesson on percentages, the question could be, is an extra 20% in a cell really that good? Or for an English lesson on grammar, how important is punctuation in an email? As you can see, these questions are quite broad, but they set up a conflict, a question to answer. Whatever your subject and topic, set up the focus and conflict of your lesson with this central question. And we're going to explore this central question in our next video when we look at Act 2, the problem. Be sure to follow me on social media and subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter and YouTube channel for more tips and insights, and so that you don't miss the next video. You can also book workshops for the Storytelling Teacher approach, where I dive deeper into each act and show educators how to further boost engagement, embed critical thinking and problem solving skills, and maximise your success as a storytelling teacher. For more info, please visit my website www.curiousspirit.co.uk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.